Hello and welcome everyone, my name is Fleur and this is a 30-minute Yang into Yin practice. So where we'll start with working into the muscles of our body, bringing up heat and strength and focus, and then afterwards we'll slide into the Yin where we release into the ligaments and joints and bring the mind back to the calm. And we'll start with seated. So come into a comfortable seated seat. If you like, you can place maybe some blocks or books underneath your sit bones or pillows so that you can have the legs relaxed and away from you. Rest your hands on your thighs or knees. And then take a deep breath in through the nose. And exhale, you can sigh out through the mouth. And do that a few more times so that you arrive in your yogic space. So the space that you are practicing with today, with what you're bringing here to the mat. And then when you're ready, closing the mouth, closing the eyes if they're not closed already. And place your awareness now on your breath. And just notice, you don't have to change anything, just feel how your breath is. Try and be curious about the whole circle of breath from the beginning of the inhale to the end of the exhale. And just taking a few moments here to really settle into this moment of just observing your breath. There's nothing else to do, just that. Nothing else to think about, just the breath. And when the mind wanders, just bringing it back to the beginning of the inhale, to the end of the exhale. And in this space now, we'll set an intention for our practice. Whatever it might be for you, it could be a physical reason, a spiritual reason, a mental reason. You decide. You can bring the hands to your heart center, lift the heart to the hands. And let's open with the mantra Om, taking a deep breath in through the nose. Om. Blinking your eyes open. Release your hands down and remove any props. Place them to the side, maybe you need them later. And then place your hands down to the floor. Bring yourself into a tabletop position. And from here, just take a little rocking motion forwards and back so that we warm up the wrists a little bit. So as fingers spread, moving a little bit forward, a little bit back, a little bit forward, a little bit back. And then stay a little bit forward and just make small circles in one direction over your wrists. Try and keep the thumb straight, they usually want to bend. You're pressing the whole hand into the floor. And change direction to the other way round. And then from here, moving your hands forwards. Look forwards between the hands and thumbs. And without collapsing the chest just yet, just round tiny little bits through the chest. Tuck the tailbone slightly under and then draw the hips back so you feel the stretch here underneath the armpits. And press slightly down into the hands. Now think of the outer arms, the upper arms rotating outwards. Rotate them outwards. If you like, tuck your toes so you have a little bit more support. And then think of drawing the hip bones back, nice and slowly. You should feel that stretch underneath the armpits, in the chest. And then from here, as if your nose is drawing a small little circle in front of your nose, just start to make small little circles, keeping the arms as straight as possible. If you need to move back slightly with your hips, you can do it. So small circles with the nose. Arms keeping this activity. And when change direction, go the other way round. Keeping the belly drawn in, ribs slightly in. And then hold still. And from here, just come up and down. So arms still straight, hands pressing into the floor. And just come up through the chest a little and exhaling down. Draw the navel a little bit up and a little bit down. Not too much, so just a few inches up and down. Up and down. Still staying outward rotated with your upper arms. And then rest your forehead on the floor and relax. Stretching the arms forward, just taking a few breaths here. And then from here, drawing the hips back, bring the hands under the shoulders by bending the elbows, come back into a tabletop position. And then tuck your toes under and lift your knees off the floor. If you have a block handy, or pillow, you can place this between your thighs and then lift up and press and squeeze into your block or your pillow. Push the hands down to the floor and hold it. Connect to your Ujjayi breath. Try and keep your thumbs straight and keep the head long so you don't collapse the neck. Keep drawing into the navel, so Uddiyana Bandha. One more deep breath here. And release the knees down. Remove your prop to the side and then place your hands slightly forward again and lift your hips up. Keep the knees really bent and keep the heels high. Now look back towards your toes. Spread through the arms. Spread. Reach through the arms with your head. Open the chest. And think of lengthening from your belly button towards your collarbones. Keeping the knees bent so the highest point is your tailbone or your hip bones, so your sit bones. And then from here, try to bring one heel down and then the other. So you're walking out a little bit through the heels. Warming up the hamstring. Keep the arms really strong. So the arms and shoulders don't move here, just your legs. And then from here, try and press both your heels down. And then as you inhale, lift the heels back up. Knees can still be slightly bent, but think of drawing the heels down and then lift the heels up. Arms strong. Draw the chest through the arms. Think of the outer edges of your armpits, drawing slightly down. Last few rounds, lifting the heels and lowering down. And then bring the toes together, touching. And then from here, come forward into a plank position. Squeeze your legs together, squeeze your glutes. Do not let the hip come down too much, so feel it in the core. Push down into the floor with your hands. And then draw the hips back up. Lift your right leg straight up with the heel leading, so the toes are pointing down. Draw the left heel down to the floor. You might not come as high as if you open the hips, so keep the hips square, right hip bone facing down. And then point the foot, rotate the ankle 3 times one direction, and then 3 times in the other direction. Really spread the toes as well. Then bend your knees and draw the knee forward towards your nose. Look between your hands and see if you can step the foot forward. If that's unavailable, just step the right foot down, left knee down, and see if you can bring the right foot in between your hands. Good. Once you're there, lower down your left knee and reach your arms up. Lift up through the heart, press down into your left shin. The sun right in my face, very nice. Breathe in, lift up through the fingertips. Think of softening your tailbone slightly down and drawing the glutes slightly together so you're opening through the left hip. And then from here, bring the hands back down towards the floor. Step back into a high plank. And then from here, drop your heels over towards the left side. And you can bring the left knee down if you like, or keep the leg straight and then lift up through the right arm, open through the chest. Lengthen through the right side. If you want a little bit more, bring your left foot to the right side. Lengthen it to the left side. So you're scissoring your legs. 3 more breaths. And look down to the floor, bring the right hand down. Step back into a downward facing dog. Hips go back and up. And then bringing the big toes together, touching. Lengthen your left heel straight up. Toes are pointing down. Think of drawing the right heel down towards the floor. And hold it. Still active in your shoulders. So think of the armpits wanting to come further back towards the back of the mat. Breathe in and then rotate the ankle 3 times one direction and 3 times the other way. And then look forward, bend your left knee, draw the knee forward in your way. Bring the right knee down. Untuck the back toes and lift up through the arms. Lifting high, so lifting your lower ribs away from the hips. Gently draw the tailbone down. Open the right hip side. And then bring the hands back down towards the floor. Step back into a high plank. And then turn your heels over towards the right. Either with the right knee down or the leg straight, lift up into a side plank. And if you want a little more, bring the right foot out to the left side. And hold it there, drawing the hips up. And then look down, bring the hand back down to the floor and step back into a downward facing dog. Walk a little bit out through the heels. From here, bring the big toes together, touching. Lift up the right leg. This time, open your hip by bending your knee and lifting the knee up to the ceiling. The right heel towards the left buttock. And then bring the right knee forward between your hands. Bring the left knee, heel down, left heel down. Windmill your arms, open into a warrior 2. Look down, see if your right heel is in line with the arch of your left foot. Left toe is facing short of 90 degrees. Look down again, see if your right big toe is on the left side of your right knee. And then soften your hips, tuck them, tailbone slightly. And draw your shoulders down so your arms are nice and long and strong. Look over the right middle finger. Feel the strength of your warrior, legs pushing down to the floor. And then bring the right elbow down towards the right thigh. And then palm facing forward, open the chest first of all. Open, keep the neck nice and long. Then see if you can bring the left hand behind your back, either onto the small of your back, or if it's available, see if you can wrap your fingers over your right thigh. Roll that left shoulder down. Feel the strength in the right leg. Look down towards the floor. And then from here, bring your left foot slightly further in. For a moment, straighten your right leg. Let go of the right hand. Bring right hand down towards your ankle. Trikonasana. Keep rotating the chest up. Activate the legs by lifting the kneecaps and pulling up through the thigh. Look down to the floor, bend your right knee. You can either let go of the bind behind your back, maybe bring the hand to your hip, and then bring the right hand in front of your right foot. Move back a bit. If you have a block handy or a book, you can use it. You can show you the book. And then transfer the weight slowly. Try to not push too much down into your prop if you have one. And then, as you look down, so it's a little wobbly, lift up the left leg. Flex the toes to the left side. Try and keep the bind. Or hand onto your hip, or maybe arm up. Your hand is on the floor, come to fingertips, and you might like to just balance, letting go of the floor. And then bending your right knee, nice and slowly. Step back, windmill your arm up and open, into reverse warrior, arm up over the head. Exhaling all the way down, frame your foot, step back into high plank. And let's do a vinyasa. Bring your knees down if you want. Or chaturanga, bend your elbows slowly. Inhaling into low cobra, which I can't do, so I'm going to do upward dog. Because I'm going to lift the chest. Exhale, downward dog. Push the hips back and up. Lovely, let's do the other side. Bring the toes together, touching. Lift up your left leg into the sky. And then bend your left knee. Reach your left heel to the right buttock. Open through the hip. And then bring the left knee forward. I'll face my back to you now. I will be right. And then windmill your arms up into warrior two. Find again the alignment of left heel to the arch of the right foot. Whoops, and reach your arms either way. Look over your left middle finger. Activate your triceps. Lower the hips. Look down, see if you can see your left big toe on the right side of your left knee. Strong legs. Keep your breath moving smoothly. And then bring the left elbow down to the left thigh. Turn your palm facing to the right side and then lift up through the chest. Draw the shoulders down so your neck is nice and long. And then bring the right hand behind your back and see if you can either bring it onto the smalls of your back, fingers pointing down, or hook your fingers over your left thigh. Keep rotating. And then look down and try and, first of all, bring your right foot slightly in. And then straighten your left leg. Left hand can come down on the shin. And rotate the chest up and draw the back towards an imaginary wall behind you. Think of lowering or squeezing your right sit bone down to the right heel. And then look down to the floor, bend your left knee. Step a little closer again if you like. Hand either on the floor or on a block. And lift up your right leg into Ardha Chandrasana. Half moon pose. And then again, any variations for the arms. Take your time. Keep using your breath. Breathe into the ground. Think of growing roots. If you like, you can hover. And then slowly bring the hands back down. No, not hands down. Back leg down, sorry. Windmill your arms open into warrior two. Turn your front palm up and reverse the warrior. Little stretch for the side here. Bend left knee. And then exhale all the way down to the floor. Step back, high plank. And exhaling, you can bring the knees down. Chaturanga. Inhale into your low cobra or upward dog. And exhale, downward dog. And then stay here for a few breaths. Noticing the flow of air. Noticing the energy you created in your physical body. And from here, bring your knees down towards the floor. Open the knees quite wide. Toes touching, and just sit back and reach your arms forward into a wide-legged child's pose. Let's find a deeper breath now. Notice the length of the exhales, and focus on elongating the exhales a little bit more. Not forcing, just very gentle prodding, letting the exhales become a little slower. Really enjoy the sensations of inhaling and exhaling. And then from here, bend your elbows, bring the hands back, push the floor away. And let's come from here into a pigeon pose. So bringing the right knee forward towards the right wrist, turn the right foot slightly out to the side, and maybe wiggle the foot slightly further forward. Tuck your left toes behind you and then draw that left leg back. We want to feel this here in the right side of the leg, on the glute, in one and the glute. If this is too intense and you feel you're up here and it's very uncomfortable and you want some support, then use some props like maybe some pillows or cushions and place them right underneath your hip bones so that you're not collapsing on one side. You want to keep both your hip bones facing straight forward. And then from here, take a little wriggle so you feel that you're quite steady. You can have the hands on the floor to support you. Or maybe if it feels okay, very slowly, if it's alright, you can bring your elbows down, you can relax your head. You decide how far you go, and it's more about gradually releasing rather than just pushing into the most intense sensation. It should feel like you can soften the jaw and just be aware of the sensations that you're experiencing rather than battling against them or gripping. And you'll notice that very slowly your body will release more and more. And then taking a deep breath in and exhaling, slowly releasing the pose. Hands on the floor, tuck your left toes, draw the left knee forwards. And move to the other side, maybe wriggling the hips out a little bit. Bring your left knee forward and then the foot out to the right side. Wriggle a little bit forward if that feels okay. Right toes tuck and then draw that right leg back. Take a little wriggle, again use your props if you feel it's too intense. And then coming slowly to that first place where you feel, okay, I can hold it here, this is alright. It doesn't have to be so intense that you battle against yourself. There's nothing to prove to anyone, not to me, not to yourself. This is not about endurance, this is about giving yourself space so that the body can release and soften. And gradually become more and more free. Sometimes what happens is also that things get revealed, emotions that felt stuck.
That can happen too in this practice. Just find your slow breath. A deep breath in and exhaling slowly, hands back towards your shoulders. Push the floor away. Tuck your right toes and then draw that right knee forwards. Come back to a tabletop position. Maybe as a little release, press the hands on the floor and come to downward dog. Walk a little bit out through the heels. And then from here, bending your knees back down. And from here, come and sit on one side. Bring your legs out in front of you. And let's come into a nice forward fold. So you can, again, sit on something like a pillow or cushion. You might like to bend the knees slightly. You can have the feet slightly apart as well. And place a rolled up towel underneath your knees. And then try and avoid this feeling where you're leaning sort of back and trying to reach forward. We want to hinge from the hips so that our torso gets closer to the thighs. So if you're really tight in the hamstrings, you might have to bend the knees a bit and just hold the ankles, relaxing the feet and fold. Or you can see if you can let yourself soften. Maybe you have something you can place in front of your, or in between your legs so you can rest your forearms on them. Let the legs be floppy. And then relax the head. And breathe into your back. And notice if there's still the gripping going on, or the holding on of tension. Can you just sit with what is? What does it feel like? What does it feel like to release? So there might be thoughts of, I'm not doing enough, I need to pull, I need to push forwards, I should be lower. And if you notice these thoughts, then congratulate yourself for noticing them. And compassionately just soften again into where you're at. In a way, as if you're really tired and you just don't have the energy to try and do anything else. But just sit here for a moment and release. If it helps, you can also place the hands under your calves, so sometimes that gives you a little bit of a support for the arms. So each exhale, imagine that it's like a soothing elixir that helps you release the hamstrings and the back. And the neck muscles. Like melting ice cream. Softening slowly, slowly. sigh out. And slowly rolling yourself back up. Give your legs a gentle shake side to side. And then in your own time, make your way down to your back. And then step the feet in. And for a moment, just rock your knees side to side. Little release for the lower back. And then if you have a pillow or cushion hand, you can lift your hips up and just place it underneath your lower back. It doesn't have to be very high. You can open your arms to the side with the elbows bent, palms facing up. And take a few moments here. If you don't have anything, you can also just open the arms and stay here for a few moments. Notice how the shoulders soften and widen with each inhale, and at each exhale, imagine they're growing wider and softer. And slowly bring the arms back down next to your hips. Lift your hips if you had something underneath your buttocks, and slowly rolling yourself back down onto the mat. Feel the lower back spread there, and again if you like, just drop the knees side to side. And for a moment you can bring the knees into your chest and give them a little hug. Another little rock side to side. And then stretch one leg and then the other away from you. Hands can be on your belly, on your heart, or by the side. Close your eyes and just let yourself become still. And for a few moments we're doing nothing at all. Just resting, watching our breath. Noticing anything that arises and moves away. Feeling grateful for this little space that we had for ourselves, for the body that gave us all this energy. And then slowly taking again a deep breath in and exhale side out. And then wriggle your fingers and your toes. Reach your arms over your head and give yourself a long stretch. And then you can bring the knees back up and roll over to one side. Just lie there for a moment. And then press your hand into the floor, stretch your top leg out. Come up nice and slow. Let the head come up last. You can keep the eyes closed and find your way back to a seated position. Resting the hands on your thighs or your knees, long in the spine. And just notice the feelings, the state, how you are now. This yogic state that we practice with. bringing your hands to your heart center, lift your heart to your hands. And let's close with the mantra Om, taking a deep breath in. And then sigh it out. And let's close, breathing into chant. Namaste everyone. Thank you so much for joining me in the session today. Please check out my other videos or follow me on or subscribe to my channel, Fleur Yoga and Pilates, where there's some more videos. Hope to see you again soon.